It looks like the first reactions to 28 years later, The Bone Temple, are now online. People have officially seen the film. They're putting out their small kind of social media reviews here, and we're going to be diving into these reactions and seeing what people are saying about the movie. I have not read any of these reactions. I have no idea what they're going to say. I'm hyped to read them, but I mean, are they going to be positive? Are they going to be negative? Are they going to be somewhere in the middle? We'll have to wait and see in just a minute. But guys, also remember, when 28 years later was coming out, remember their marketing campaign website, rageleaks.net. It had all those classified files that we checked out on the channel, giving us kind of subplots and details and information and backstory lore about the kind of universe that they're building here. Well, since they've started up their marketing campaign, every now and again I check out to see if the website's been reactivated, and it looks like it now has. So if we go over to rageleaks.net, we have this brand new file name here, and it's called Leaked Screenings. So if we click on this, it shows us a map here, and it gives us like almost kind of like a map, and it shows us where these leaked screenings are taking place, kind of like these red dots popping up, almost like you're looking at a map with a virus on it. So it's kind of reminiscent of a virus type map. But you can see across the world here, these are where the screenings of this film have already happened. So we've got like Florida, looks like New York, California, we've got places like France, it looks like Spain, here in the UK as well. I don't know if you... The leaked screening in your area has reached full occupancy. Stay alert for the next one. That's Paris. Okay. Can we zoom in here? We can't actually zoom in. London, the leaked screening in your area has reached full occupancy. So I think it's probably just going to say the same for every single one. Let me just click on this one. The leaked screening in your area has reached full occupancy. Discover the next locations before anyone. Sign up now. Okay, let's click on that. And let's see what this does. Okay, so the leaked screenings. Discover your next locations before anybody else. Sign up now. Okay, so you can sign up for leaked screenings, so that's pretty interesting there. But anyway, with that down, let's get over to these reactions here and see what people are saying. So, from up first, Christopher rates it. Nia DaCosta is a director that more people need to keep their eyes on for the near future. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is one of the greatest horror movies of the decade, as it takes the first movie and goes extra 10 miles with the brutality and intensity of the world. Wow. It goes an extra 10 miles with the brutality and intensity. I have to say, the marketing, like the trailers, they do look a lot more brutal and a lot more intense than the first movie on the trailers. But yeah, man, 10 extra miles. I'll take that all day long. That's a great first reaction to read there. Okay, from Amon Warman. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Yet more evidence that when you let Nia DaCosta cook, great things tend to happen. So much to love with Ralph Fiennes walking away with the MVP and tearing the house down with one especially insane sequence that rightfully drew applause. Go see. Okay. And it looks like that person that is at one of the leaked screenings there, probably in London, I would imagine. Okay, keep going down here from Tori Brazier. Excuse my language, but I just got out of the first screening of 28 years later, The Bone Temple, and holy fucking shit. This has cranked everything up to 11, and I warn you, you will need a very strong stomach or a sick bag. Also, Ralph Fiennes is truly phenomenal. I absolutely love that, man. That has just built my hype up even more. Holy fucking shit. This cranked everything up to 11. That sounds fantastic. Going the extra 10 miles, cranking it up to 11. You're going to need a sick bag or a strong stomach. That's exactly the way this movie universe should be seen. You know, this kind of visceral, R-rated, you know, guts and blood and, you know, zombies running around. That's kind of what we want. Okay, from Matt Hudson. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is, at times, relentless, deeply cerebral, and deliciously savage, a continuation of the story from 28 years later. Jack O'Connell and Ralph Fiennes are superb, alongside the wonderful Chi Lewis Parry, who's obviously playing the Alpha Infected. But yeah, I mean, there we go. Deliciously savage. Two words that you can put together that sound fantastic. That should be the marketing slogan for this movie. Deliciously savage. I think that would sell a lot of tickets. But again, a great positive reaction there. Okay, let's keep going. From Will Salmon. 28 years later, The Bone Temple takes some big swings and most of them land. So they're saying that most of them land, so there are some missed opportunities there by the sound of it. Suspect it will divide fans, but it's nastier and surprisingly funnier than the first part. with mesmerizing performances from Jack O'Connell and Ralph Fiennes. Yeah, there was some unexpected humor in that first movie. Remember the scene where we had Spike and we had the Norwegian NATO soldier, when they're kind of having that conversation. They're kind of sat on the blanket and like they're having lunch, and the conversation, the witty banter between Spike and the NATO soldier, when the NATO soldier's holding up his phone, and Spike has never seen a phone. He doesn't know what the internet is, doesn't know what social media is, and like that kind of funny humor conversation. And it sounds like there's more of that kind of to come here. But it does say, suspect it will divide fans. I mean, the first movie did divide a lot of people as well, because it does feel like the franchise has gone in a different direction from the earlier two films. So it did divide a lot of people, but it sounds like this one could divide them even more. We'll have to wait and see exactly how that works out, but without the context of how the movie's going to divide people, it's kind of hard to comment any further on that. Okay, from Liam, the Bone Temple runs laps around 28 years later, which is really saying something. Unexpected, uncomfortable, unapologetic, I've long thought the big screen zombie story was played out. This franchise has given it millennium of moment. Make these movies forever. Okay, there we go. Make these movies forever. Saying something unexpected is uncomfortable and unapologetic. I like that. It's more gory, more visceral, uncomfortable. All of these kind of buzzwords, man. These are the kind of things that you want to be hearing from this franchise. Make these movies forever. That's a fantastic way to end off that reaction there. And we got a great shot there of the Jimmy gang. Okay, up next from Zach, 28 years later, The Bone Temple is a great follow-up to Danny Boyle's recent sequel. Nia DaCosta recaptures the magic of the previous films with a propulsive story that utilizes dynamic camera work as it explodes the cultish side of faith, religion, and the NHS. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. Faith, religion, and the NHS. Going into that kind of... going into all of those different kinds of heavy topics there. It's going to be interesting. Kelson obviously going to be talking about his backstory, the religion, the faith that he has, building the Bone Temple. We're going to find out more about that. And the NHS. Obviously, he used to be a doctor working for the NHS, National Health Service here in the UK. So it's going to be interesting to dive into all those kind of topics that kind of the chemical components that kind of make his character, so to speak. Okay, from Rachel Leishman, 28 years later, The Bone Temple is beautifully chaotic, breathtaking, and everything I wanted it to be. Nia DaCosta brought her unique style to the world on a captivating way, and I would watch Jack O'Connell and Ralph Fiennes for hours. Another banger of a film for this franchise. That's great. Obviously, those two are going to be the main standout characters of this entire film. I think most of this film is going to be following the journey of Sir Jimmy Crystal and Dr. Kelson, and then I think towards the third act at the end of the film, they're going to cross over, and then they're going to have that kind of confrontation, and I think it's ultimately going to conclude between them kind of trying to deal with Samson and kind of how they're going to approach that. I think that's how it's going to work, I think. Okay, from Ryan Hollinger, Bone Temple is a brutally audacious follow-up to the 28 years later that largely sidelines the infected to explore cultism, trauma, psychosis, and compassion. I really like its uncompromising, idiosyncratic ambition. It's easily more polarizing than 28 years later, video coming in January. I love that. Uncompromising, idiosyncratic ambition. Polarizing. I mean, that's kind of the sentiment and the kind of the through line that we're getting here, that this is a lot more it's a lot more visceral, a lot more polarizing, a lot more dividing. It's a lot more kind of gritty and intense than that first 28 years later. So that's what I'm really going to be looking for as I go into this movie, and I hope that that's the case, that they kind of up the ante, so to speak, and make it just more visceral. Okay, from Eamon Parks, I'll say it with my chest. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is one of the best horror movies of the last decade. Wow, that is fighting words right there. I like that. That's a pretty big statement to make. Gnarly, intense, and surprisingly tender. Ralph Fiennes, Jack O'Connell, and Chi Lewis Parry take a bloody bow. So yeah, again, focusing on those three main characters, but one of the best horror movies of the last decade. That's not something that you lightly say, or, you know, that easily comes out. I mean, there's a lot of horror films, great horror films come out in the last 10 years. So, I mean, that gets me more hyped, for sure. Okay, from Giovanni Lago, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. What if isolation is erosive as the virus flowing through the infected's veins? DaCosta's introversion of this world juxtaposes so precisely with the groundwork laid before her by Boyle. Hard to imagine a better start to the new year. So again, that was a very philosophical kind of reaction, I have to say. But yeah, I like the way it was going, and saying that it's a great continuation of what Danny Boyle started, basically. And that's kind of the reactions that we have so far. So you see these reactions here. Visceral kind of dialing up the ante to 11, going the extra 10 miles. Just one of the best horror films of the last 10 years. I mean, all of these fantastic comments. There wasn't one negative or one kind of middling comment there whatsoever. It wasn't like, the film's incredible, but this could have been worked on, or the film is amazing, but it lacks this. You know, there was no negative connotations in any of these reactions whatsoever. Everything was just like A+, you know, reaction, incredible, amazing, visceral, off the charts, great. So this does get me a lot more hyped. But again, sometimes we do have to take the reactions with a grain of salt. Sometimes initial reactions do tend to skew towards the positive. That just happens to be a thing when it comes to reactions. But still, you can't help but get hyped by reading this kind of stuff. And the experience that people have had at these early, what they're calling leaked screenings. So yeah, guys, you see these reactions here. How hyped are you to watch 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple? You know, what do you think about these reactions? Let me know, guys. What are you looking forward to? What information do you take away from this? Jump down in the comment section, leave your thoughts, your theories, your opinions, and anything else you want to talk about regarding this news or 28 Years Later, the franchise as a whole. We'd love to hear your feedback, as always. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Before you go, make sure you do me a huge favor. Hit the like button to push this video out to YouTube so that more people can find it. I would really appreciate that. Also, make sure you become a subscriber here at ReviewFlix to help join in the growing community here. Over 10,500 subscribers now, which is incredible. Also, make sure you hit the notification button as well, so you don't miss out on any future 28 Years Later content as it comes to the channel. You don't want to miss any of that exciting content, guys. And with all that down, I will see you, as always, in the very next video.